Welcome. Have I got a treat for you today? Today we've got a special masterclass with the one and only Tom Breeze from tombreeze.com. That's his site right there that you can go and check out if you want to see everything that he's up to. And make sure you check it out during the call or after the call sometime. But yeah, today we're going to be talking about optimizing your YouTube video ads. And then once you got them optimized, how to scale them properly. And Tom is just the man that's going to help us with that today. So in a second, I'll introduce you to Tom. So keep watching. All right, so I'm really excited to have Tom Breeze with me today. Tom is really making big waves in the online video advertising space. It's kind of like the Ogilvy of video marketing these days. Just recently, he spoke at the Traffic and Conversion Summit in San Diego, and by the sounds of it, he made quite a few heads turn. Tom, welcome to the call.
Hey Gideon, how you doing?
Very good. Give us a quick update of where things are at for you since we had a chat last time.
Oh wow, lots have happened. Yeah, so was in San Diego just last week, and sunny San Diego, back in the horrible UK now, weather-wise. Yeah, so gave a presentation out there all about YouTube advertising and focused on some case studies about what's really working in the field right now. And yeah, it went down really, really well. Had some amazing networking that was going on as well. So met lots of people that I've always wanted to meet that I don't get to sometimes because based in the UK, we sometimes feel a little bit isolated. So it's good to get out there and meet a lot of people and things. But it was just great to connect with like-minded entrepreneurs, people that are running their businesses, know what it's like to kind of like be on the daily grind of actually getting this stuff out and actually making success of their lives and things. So yeah, it was brilliant. It's brilliant to see like that not that many people are still using YouTube, which is a big benefit to the people that are using YouTube. And yeah, it's just such an exciting field right now with what's going on with YouTube and all the other platforms when it comes to video advertising as well.
Awesome. Well, we're absolutely honored to have you on the call today, Tom, and great to see you getting so much exposure now with what you've been doing. Truly well deserved. You've been at it for so long now, so really, really great. So
well,
today,
I owe a lot of that to you as well, Gideon. So thank you for that.
To me, no,
Yeah,
I think
yeah,
you've done a pretty good job on your own there, Tom.
well, yeah.
Well done. Yeah. So today we'd definitely like to talk about optimizing YouTube video ads in particular, and then once you got them optimized, what you can do to scale them, because I mean that's where things are at, right? So it's one thing getting your ads up and running, and then even optimizing them. There's a bit of an art to that as well, but then getting the word out there and scaling, that's really what we're all driving towards. So really looking forward to see and hear what you've got to share for us today on that.
Yeah, for sure. I'm definitely really excited about kind of sharing some of this stuff with everybody on the call. And yeah, hopefully I'm going to use the blackboard behind me as well, so it can actually feel like we're in a classroom completely. So that'll be nice.
There's a bit of a story here. Everyone should know. Me and Tom have been having this bit of competition with who can have the best background, and I must say I'm fully jealous now because I can't draw pictures on my background. So that makes me fully jealous.
I had to build a whole office dedicated to this one background.
Right.
So yeah, yeah, there we go.
Very cool. Okay, so let's look at a scenario. So I'm a fairly new video advertiser, right? I'm new to the game. I've been able to create my video ads. Say I've got them up on YouTube, and I'm maybe getting some impressions, maybe some views, maybe a few clicks, or maybe I'm not even getting anything. But the bottom line is it's not necessarily going all that great,
Okay.
or it's going great, but I want to optimize it further and then scale. So first part of the call, let's look at the optimizations side of it, a bit of the philosophy there, the strategy, maybe some tactics, and then look at the scaling. So where would you start, Tom, if you're kind of new to this? What would be the best place to start thinking about optimization?
It's a really good question. Okay, so whenever I look at YouTube advertising, I look at it at like 4 different P's, I call them. And I don't always talk about all 4 of them, but I will do in this call because I think it's important for us to kind of understand this. And I think that everybody that's advertising with YouTube has kind of got over that hump of kind of like actually getting into it. I think a lot of people have this like mindset of I don't know how to do it, I don't know what to do, and therefore never get into it. But the people that are on this call that are running YouTube ads right now, you've done the hard work, which is great. And really optimizing and scaling is the fun bit, if it can be fun in that way. But yeah, so the four P's come down to. I'm going to try and use the blackboard now, Gideon.
Wait.
Let me know if I'm drawing in the right area, if
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
all
no,
right.
I'll let you know.
Okay, cool. So the first one is platform. And what I mean by platform is that the actual YouTube ecosystem and how it works. So obviously there's different ways of advertising on YouTube, but just remember that people go to YouTube in the first place, or the people that we're interested that go to YouTube in the first place are there to search out information. And so they're in that research mode, they're looking for information, and if you can get in front of them at the right time with the right video and have the right offer and give that to those people, they're going to be very, very interested. So when we target people to begin with in-stream ads in particular, we'll normally start with placements. So we're literally selecting the type of placements we want to get in front of. And when we look at the placements, we've obviously used a keyword to kind of try and find those placements in the first place. So if, say, for example, we're in the video ad space, just for the time being, we can talk about lots of different types of case studies. So Gideon, have a think and ask me any questions you want on that.
Right.
But yeah, so say, for example, someone types in video advertising or how to advertise on YouTube or keywords around that sort of area. I know they're looking for information about how to advertise on YouTube. Maybe they're looking for some tutorials, maybe they're looking for some more advice, etc. And if I'm running an in-stream ad, I might want to get in front of that audience. So I would select all the different relevant keywords that I can think of around YouTube advertising, YouTube ads, and be a bit careful because obviously, especially just recently with the Super Bowl, lots of people like type in YouTube ads and are looking up old Super Bowl adverts or the adverts that have just gone live. And that can be wasted traffic for me because I can spend a lot of money on this ambiguous audience. So really, I've got to be a lot more selective in the keywords that I might choose. Something like how to advertise on YouTube is a lot better than just straight YouTube ads because we don't really know what people are searching for there. So it kind of starts with the keyword really. And as soon as you type in the keyword into Veeroll and it gives you all the different placements, it's then a case of trying to identify the very best placements. And so that kind of goes with the campaign build as you're building it out. You're trying to select the very best placements you can choose. And then you're running your ad, or maybe you've got a couple of ads, or maybe even more than that, running those ads to those placements. Now, when you're doing that, in order to optimize, what you want to do is go through your actual campaign that you're running and select by the placements. So kind of filter by those placements and see which ones are, where I start to begin with is just look at which ones are the most expensive ones, which ones are still driving good traffic for a cost-effective price, and which ones are dirt cheap, basically, and trying to kind of categorize those ones out. And the ones that are really expensive per conversion, so what I'm not willing to pay, I'm typically quite happy to pay quite a high cost per acquisition for a conversion. I'm quite happy to pay a higher fee for a conversion because I know my back end is going to be worth it. So I calculate the lifetime customer value and can work it backwards. But sometimes we're not sure, and sometimes we don't know what a good price might be. Now, what we often do at that stage is compare to somewhere like Facebook, if we're running ads on Facebook. And I would really encourage you not to compare the two platforms because YouTube as a platform is about search, people looking for this information. So you get a much higher quality of search and a much higher quality of traffic. And we find in the vast majority of cases when we're advertising our clients on both YouTube and also Facebook, YouTube might be a little bit more expensive to get the lead in the first place. But that lead will typically go further in the funnel and spend a lot more money with you. So you've got to kind of weigh it up a little bit and don't necessarily think that you can compare like for like Facebook versus YouTube and also other platforms as well. And those search platforms tend to perform a little bit better. But the first thing I'd do...
That's a really interesting point. I mean, even with some of our tests, like we found Facebook in general quite easy, to get traffic and to get even, clicks and leads. But they don't always turn into sales as much as we would find on YouTube. We've had some pretty good conversion rates with YouTube compared to Facebook, even though the traffic might be less for our very niche audiences that we've targeted. So yeah, very interesting point.
Yeah, exactly. And I think that's critical to pay attention to. We have lots of agency prospects that come through and say, hey, we're getting like 50 cents leads from Facebook. And I want you to do the same thing on YouTube. And I'm like, well, hang on a second. It's a different platform altogether. Your audience might behave in a completely different way on that platform. And and bear in mind that we might not get 50 cents leads. They might even be sometimes 10 times more expensive than that, depending on the competitiveness of the niche and how it works, and maybe what ad creative they have as well. But we've got to pay attention to the fact that it's got to be you've got to look at it from an ROI perspective. Keep an eye on your numbers in terms of what a lead's worth to you, what a customer's worth to you, not just on that first sale, but ongoing as well. And if you can start to calculate that back, you'll tend to find, yeah, as I say, like the YouTube leads will go further in the funnel, spend more money with you. And so each lead is worth more to you typically from YouTube than it would be from Facebook. So it's just paying attention to that. And that's the first P, the platform, is just understand that the different platforms work in different ways. And it's good to keep an eye on that. I know that, like, well, you and I, Gideon, have done a lot of YouTube advertising, but we also done a lot of organic YouTube stuff from the past, like blogging and SEO and all that sort of good stuff, and get our videos ranked and things. And still, that traffic and those subscribers that have come through from years ago still love our stuff, and I know they love your stuff, and I know they love my stuff, and
Absolutely.
and yeah, and it's that kind of, you can build a really strong relationship as well. Like, the other thing as well, I suppose, about this platform is we are using video. We're using a medium that's so much more engaging, and it's we remember people a lot more. So actually, something I spoke about at TNC was this idea that if you imagine prior to, like, I think it was like 1980, psychologists used to think of memory almost like a filing cabinet with lots of files in it. And then a guy came out with an experiment. I can't remember the scientist now. I'll think of him. I'll come back to him in a minute. Anyway, Rubin, I think it was, someone Rubin, Dr. Rubin.
Okay. Right.
And he came up with this study where he said, like, okay, remember the Mona Lisa, and then said, remember the taste of watermelon, and remember the house we grew up in, and remember the definition of truth, and all these strange questions. But as you try and remember them, your mind does many, many different things. It starts flitting off all over places. So when I said, remember what the taste of watermelon is, chances are you'll kind of visualize what a watermelon looks like, the green rind and the red fruit. If it was like, remember where you grew up, in the house that you grew up in, you'd remember all the different kind of locations of the rooms, maybe where your parents used to sit, or whatever it might be. And then when you remember the Mona Lisa, there's that kind of like that smile that is there. There's another one which is like, remember the first line of the song, Hey Jude. And of course, you start playing the song in your mind and you almost hear Paul McCartney's voice. And what it proved was that the mind doesn't work like a filing cabinet. It works like a piece of Velcro. You've got one layer of the Velcro, which is all the hoops, and then you've got all the loops, and then you've got one layer of the Velcro that's the hooks. And when you put them together, they stick. And really what video does, it has so many hooks and loops that when you put them together, it really sticks. And you don't get the same thing when it comes to an image ad, or you don't get the same thing when it comes to a text ad. With video, you're kind of pressing so many more hooks into the loops, and people just remember you because it's so much more of an experience. And that's what I find is key to any video, because if you can get more kind of like more of a stickiness with your video, not only will you find that your videos perform in a much different way, but when someone gets to see your stuff and finds out more about you, they're going to kind of like really build a relationship with you up front, and that carries on throughout campaigns. And so that plays a big part when it comes to things like remarketing.
Absolutely.
But
really good point. I just want to interject there, Tom, as well, with the whole video thing and the connection thing. And at Veeroll, of course, we've got the templates there, but it doesn't mean that you only have to use the templates. Our templates do work well. I think they're really good for getting started and especially for doing split testing. But I guess what Tom is talking about here is also thinking about video in a much broader sense too. So you might use the templates to get people's first attention, but then you can use more advanced video techniques or video production qualities to bring out that relationship more and make that connection even stronger. So just because we've got the templates doesn't mean you only have to use the templates inside Veeroll. So really good points there, Tom.
I think even with the templates inside of Veeroll, I think that, like, you've got your logo there, you've got music behind it, you've got text coming up on the page. It's much more of an experience than it would just be an image ad, and that's the next drop down. Do you know what I mean? So there is a
Totally.
lot more connection going on there anyway. Of course, if you can get your face on camera and you can speak and you can deliver your content, that's even better because people recognize faces really, really quickly. But it's not to say that you have to do it that way. Your logo's there anyway, so they're building that connection with the logo anyway. And if you're sending them back to some sort of page where it's got good content on there, that's great too. So there's a, like it's thinking about it like as a whole campaign. I think a lot of people look at YouTube advertising as like, here's my ad and it's not performing or something, and it's more a case of, well, look at the whole spectrum really, of what you can do, and what the relationship or the user experience might be, because it might just be the offer's wrong, or it might be the targeting's off, it might not be the ad at all, the ad might be perfect. So it's a case of like looking a little bit broader sometimes and just soaking up all the information and making more educated decisions about the whole campaign, really.
That's a really good point, because I think quite often, it's like you can, it is possible to optimize something and scale something, whether it's good or bad. And so if you've got essentially a bad campaign with a bad offer and a bad messaging, yes, you can optimize that, and yes, you can scale it, but you're just going to scale badness, So,
Yeah,
so it makes sense to take a step back first when you think about optimizing everything, and just ask the question: is everything lining up? Do you have the right audience? Do you have the right message? Have you created the video in the right way? Did you actually set it up correctly? So looking at the bigger picture stuff to make sure you've got all that alignment, because if you don't have that alignment, then your optimization and scaling is not really going to help you grow your business, right?
exactly, and that's exactly what it is. And I think that like there's some strategies that I often tell people to do, where it might be like send an in-stream video ad to actually a blog post, or at least a content-rich opt-in form, so to speak, that's got a lot of value on the actual page itself. Because remember, with an in-stream ad, it's like you maybe have like 20 seconds to really capture someone's attention. There's not much relationship building you can do there. So sometimes what can be a really like a strategic approach might be to send people to a blog post. Make sure you've got your remarketing and also retargeting pixel, one from Google and one from Facebook, on that blog post. And then what you can do is, obviously that blog post will convert a certain number of those visitors. But then because you've provided them good value on that page, maybe there's like some really good content about a blog post on that page, they've done the relationship building there. So if they then disappear and don't opt in, obviously you can make a list of those, well, a remarketing list of those people that have got to that page, consumed really good information from you but didn't opt in, and then you can follow up with lots more direct response type videos, because they're interested in your stuff. They've already built a relationship with you. Another direct response video to a slightly different offer can work incredibly well. So there's some really clever things we can do around that, with like sending people to a blog post, and also there's like some really clever things, like say for example you've got a webinar and the webinar doesn't run for 3 days, for example. That's great too, because lots of people don't think about it. But if people opt in, you can still run your in-stream ads to the people that have opted in already, saying, hey, look, we're going live with a webinar tomorrow, or whatever, or in a couple of days. Make sure you kind of like turn up. I mean, you might say it in a slightly different way than that, but you can really increase your retention rates on your webinars, because I know that a lot of people don't show up for webinars. And if you increase your show-up rate, you're going to make more sales as well. So it can be a really cost-effective way to advertise your current list as well.
Okay, so there's a couple more big optimization ideas there in terms of, so this is still big picture stuff. We're not even looking at the campaigns themselves as well, because I think oftentimes we think optimization is all about just looking at the campaign and fiddling with the numbers there. And yes, you can do that, but once again, if you don't have this bigger stuff fixed, then all these smaller changes with the numbers and stuff is not going to really make such a big difference. So getting the strategy right is where it's at. Tom, I was wondering if you could use your handy dandy awesome blackboard to draw us just a picture of this remarketing thing that you talked about. So you've got the ad, but you send it to a blog post, and then what you do from that point onward. Maybe it's just a visual, sort of a picture for people so they can see how all the bits work together for that. Because I think that is actually an optimization strategy when you look at the big picture there. Because it's not just sending the ad to a landing page and boom, that's it. And if it's not converting, you wonder why. This is about making sure you're warming people up a bit, and that by default will help the whole conversion process and optimization process as a result. Yeah. So would you mind give us a bit of a visual there on how you'd set that up? Just
Okay.
little drawings.
Yeah. Of course, I knew you were going to put my platform to the real test here. So
Right.
now I'm
Can't wait.
going to fail you completely.
No,
All
come
right,
on. I want to see your
let me
drawing
try and get this
skills.
right then. Okay, so hopefully, can you still see me
Yeah.
over? Yeah, okay,
Yeah,
perfect.
you're good. You still,
Okay.
yeah, that's great.
All right, so what might happen? I'll try and take my mic with me as well as I go. All right, so what might happen is you might have a, say for example, your ad is here. I'm going to put a, so that will be your ad, your in-stream ad, and then you would normally send people through to some sort of landing page here. Now, when I say landing page, most people might call that an opt-in page, or might people call it a squeeze page, for example. But really what we're saying here is that send people to a content-rich kind of landing page. So a blog post would be good. So you might even have, if you're not comfortable getting on camera, you might not have a video there, but I'd encourage you to have a video there to build that relationship there even more effectively, using that Velcro idea again. But here you'd have lots of content here, lots of good advice. And on the right-hand side, you might have a few promotions here, getting people to take the next action, whatever it is you want them to take. So it might be signing up for a webinar, it might be signing up for some ebook or cheat sheets or whatever it might be. There can be lots of different things going on there. But we know that we want people to, the next step we want people to do is to be like, right, yeah, they sign up for something and they hit the thank you page there, which is great. Does that all come across clear enough for now,
Looking
Gideon?
great. Beautiful.
Cool.
Yeah,
Okay, perfect.
I'm impressed and rather jealous, actually.
Okay, cool. This might have to be a new format for all videos from now on, and just to wind you up.
Yeah, I might have to copy the idea, or I don't know, get my bricks to get some chalk on them or something.
Well, this is my perfect solution at the moment. All right, so we've got the ad going to the blog post of some sort, and if they sign in, that's great. We've got an audience there. What we are going to find that a lot of people do is they don't necessarily opt in. Okay, they hit that page and then they might go elsewhere. They might leave your website. They might, well, they'll obviously not going to sign in, so they'll do something else. They might get distracted by something else. Now, those people we would add, and this is my image that I normally use my team for remarketing, basically. So they would hit a remarketing list now. We would build those people that would say, right, they fired a pixel on this page because we've added either a Google or a Facebook pixel on this particular page. And then when they're there, they've been collected into a remarketing list. And then we can also know that they haven't hit this page. They haven't hit our conversion pixel. So this audience would actually be this pixel fired minus the conversions, if that makes sense. So we know they've hit that page, but we don't want to advertise continually to the people that have opted in. So we'll just kind of take an audience of people that haven't opted in. So when we build that remarketing list or we advertise that remarketing list, we'd choose the people that have hit that page, but then we'd eliminate in the campaign the people that have converted, leaving us with the people that hit that page but didn't convert.
So just to be clear there, you actually have a pixel on the thank you page as well, right? So that you can build a third or have a third audience, which consists of the people who visited the blog post minus the people who got to the thank you page, correct?
Yes, exactly. So we'll have a pixel. Let me just rub this bit off. Rub platform off for a second.
And while Tom's is rubbing that out, this is a little bit more advanced remarketing stuff, and we'll probably have another proper lesson fully on remarketing. But if you don't get it all, just think about this in terms of optimization. The idea of optimizing your video ads. This stuff is golden. And if you get stuck on the remarketing, just Google it. There's a lot of information out there, but we will probably have some more advanced training on the remarketing stuff as well. So don't stress if you don't fully get all of it right now.
Yeah, cool, exactly. I mean, I think that I hadn't actually planned to talk about this, but I think this is really important to think of bigger picture here, because if you do just dive in straight away into almost like the click-through rates of a video, you're not getting it. You're not understanding how video advertising really works, and you're not looking at the user experience first. I think that's the most important thing to do. Look at the user experience. What are they going through? And if it's not working for you, try and identify at a larger level, a higher picture or bigger picture, and then look at it and think, okay, I can kind of understand why they're not opting in, because it might be that you've got the perfect ad, really good targeting, just the wrong offer. So say, for example, I'm looking for a car, a family car, because my family's growing, for example, and I go online and then I see you've got an ad that's saying, hey, look, if you're looking for the perfect family car, check out our reviews on our blog site, which is where you would send the traffic to. And then on this blog site, you might have like one review of a family car, but the rest of it might be cars that are energy efficient. And I'm not really interested in that. I'm interested in how I can get my family to go from A to B with the least amount of stress. And so all of a sudden I'm like, well, this blog post isn't really what I'm looking for. Now, click-through rates would not have helped you at all. That wouldn't have made any difference to you whatsoever, because at this stage here, the click-through rate, people are thinking, wow, this is right for me. But as soon as they hit this page, they're thinking, actually, no, this isn't right for me. So you look at the whole bigger picture and try and like decipher it for yourself more than anything else. Like, see, right, what is that user experience? What are they going through? And why is this not working just yet? And starting there gives you that logic. And then later on, you can say, well, maybe the ad's not perfect. Maybe I should have said something like the 5 things you ought to know about family cars instead of the 5 things you should know about family cars. But there's no point starting at that level of detail of like the copy and before you start looking at the whole bigger picture.
That's with gold, Tom. I'm so glad we're covering this, because I think oftentimes it's easy for us, especially if we're more number sort of people, to start at the numbers and looking at the campaign itself, the campaign numbers, and trying to fiddle with those numbers there. But yet, if the overall strategy is not right, it doesn't matter how much we optimize there, it's not going to work. It's really just not going to work. And I think we do get customers quite often who they may go through that process of setting up their ads and running it, and then it's not working for them, and then ask for those optimization tips for their campaigns. But that's not where the value is going to be. So they need to go back to the drawing board, look at the overall process, and I'd actually encourage you to draw it out the same way that Tom is doing it here. Draw out the whole process, map it all out visually on a whiteboard or a blackboard if you're cool like Tom, and and just visually see it, and make sure that it has the right flow, it has the right psychology. And then take it, from there, before you even start looking at those numbers.
Yeah, exactly. I learned something from a conversion optimization specialist a while back, when just optimizing one landing page. And one thing he mentioned was to almost put your computer screen on the other side of the room and look at it, and start there. You can't see the copy on the page just yet. You can't read it. Just start with the experience of what it looks like to begin with. Then take a few steps forward, and what would you change now? And then take a few steps forward and take what could you change now, based on the fact that you're getting closer and closer to the detail. And that's the way he optimizes landing pages and sales pages. And I mean, this guy does very, very well. And it made sense to me, because I was like, right, should we have a green button or should we have a blue button? It's like, that doesn't matter. Right at that moment, it doesn't matter, because what are you really saying? What is it that people are looking for at this stage? I know I kind of fight this a lot in my own business, because when it comes to me giving information about YouTube advertising, there's 2 levels of people. There's people that have never done it before and don't have a clue about what to do or how to do it. And there's another level of people who are doing it right now. And I can talk at this level with you guys, if that makes sense, because it just makes more sense to everybody that's on the call, because they're running ads already. And so I always got to be careful about what level to talk to people at. And so it's a kind of, when I run my ads, sometimes it's easier for me to send people to a blog post, for example, and they can make up their own mind. Do they want the beginner training? Do they want the intermediate training? Or do they want the advanced training? And they can make that sort of decision as they go. It's starting at this level, which really, really helps.
Okay.
So yes, just come back to your question a second ago. Then you would have a pixel on so this P here represents a pixel for this people that land on this landing page, and you've got another pixel here for the conversion tracking as well. And then what you do to formulate like this list here, the remarketing list or the retargeting list, you're saying people that have hit this page, so let's call it P1, pixel 1, and let's call this P2. So it'd be like P2 minus, it'd be P1 minus P2.
That's right.
Now it sounds really kind of like that sounds really geeky and get back to school and using actually proper blackboards and things.
It
P1
sounds
minus P2.
it sounds like an English meal, P1, P2. You guys have mushy peas over there or something like that, right?
Yeah,
Isn't that an
we
English
literally
thing?
count out every single P. Yeah, that's what we do.
Awesome. Yeah, okay, so that makes it simple. So P1 minus P2.
Yeah,
Plain
so
and
you've got the
simple.
list of people that are warm, they know your stuff but haven't yet converted. Now, you might send them back to a similar page that gets them to convert for the same, let's say it's a webinar, for example. You might get them to send them to a similar page for the webinar again. But you could that what you can do basically is you say, right, I'm going to show an ad to these people again. It might be a slightly different ad, show them to those people, but this time what you might do is send them to a different page, and you might send them to a different offer completely because you realize that some of them weren't interested in your webinar. So this time you might send them to something like a cheat sheet because not everybody likes webinars. In fact, the word webinar, lots of people don't even understand what it is. So maybe a web class, maybe call it a web class, or maybe do something else like entirely. Still similar content if you wanted to, but just a different format for it. And you might just get amazing results as a result of doing that.
Awesome. Okay.
So yeah, I tend to start at this level. Like when someone comes to me and says, "Oh, we're getting great results, but my click-through rates are awful," or whatever they might say to me, I always like, well, it's really difficult to get context on it just yet until I know what the funnel is, until I know what you're trying to do, and then I can tell you whether it's working or not. Because no matter if you've got the worst offer in the world, it might be good content, but the worst offer. Like if you try to sell a webinar to like people over the age of 60, that's maybe that's not true, but maybe like over the age of 80, for example. That's me being very ageist. I do apologize, but do you know what I mean? Like you tend to find the I'm digging a hole here, Gideon. But the people of
No,
the
keep
older
digging. Keep digging.
generation may not kind of get into webinars quite so much. Moving
No,
on.
but I mean it's true. Older folks. I mean, if I would guess. I mean, I haven't seen the numbers, but I think it's a valid point. In terms of your targeting, you got to make sure that your audience is relevant. To what you're offering. So if you're doing webinars, probably 80-year-olds and over in general, not even going to know what it is. Just as an example.
Yeah, I do apologize. Of course, I was very rude there at all. I just literally had a picture of my dad in my mind. I was like, he wouldn't know what a webinar is, so
Yeah.
that's what I had in my mind.
All good.
Uh,
All good. Okay, so I think also something to note there, and you probably tell me if you agree, Tom. But I mean, what you've just drawn on your blackboard there is one of many potential funnels. But I mean, this is just the idea. So, I mean, I think that particular one that you've got there is very awesome. We actually used that last year in a promotion that we did, and it worked really, really well, especially for the remarketing list that we built from that. The audience from that remarketing list, they were much more responsive. Our relevancy scores on our ads and quality scores on our ads were much higher because they were much more qualified. So it really does work. Even that exact little funnel, as simple as that is, it works extremely well. But the key point, I think the point that Tom is making here is that, look at the overall picture. Whatever your funnel is, draw that out, get context first before you start digging into the smaller details.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's where to start. And I think the once you've got a firm idea of that and you feel like, good, I'm giving the right sort of user experience, I'm giving the user the right sort of experience here, then it makes it a lot easier for them to move on to the next stage, which is going to be a lot more detail, which we'll go into now.
Oh, okay, good. All right. So what is this next stage, Tom?
Okay, so what I do to begin with is I look at the if you're running in-stream to placements, which is where I recommend most people start with, when you're running your in-stream ads to the placements, first thing to do is go through those placements, know what you're prepared to pay for a lead, and then start turning off the ads that are costing too much, basically, or turning off the placements that are costing too much. You're always going to find a sneaky Minecraft video gets in there every now and again and costs you a lot of money because they get so many views, these things. But yeah, you can start to look at some of the placements that you're advertising to, and you can start eliminating those, just pausing them basically. So you're left with better quality placements. You won't get ad fatigue typically like you do on Facebook. So you'll tend to find that your ads do pretty well when it's kind of like close, like really focused in keywords that have generated those placements in the first place. But yeah, I would say I mean, the way that I do it typically is different to how I recommend doing it. But what I tend to do is just get as many placements as I can that are relevant to the type of keyword that I'm searching, stick them all inside lots of different ad groups. Maybe get about, I'll do less than 10 ad groups per campaign, and just because it gives me more control over the budgets later on. But what I would do is I would probably have about 8 ad groups per campaign, and then kind of build it out so I've got as many campaigns as I can think of in terms of keywords and things that people will be searching directly for what I've got to offer, like YouTube advertising on YouTube, and go through all those different variations of the different keywords, and then off the back of that, I would start turning off those placements that were costing us too much. That would be the first thing I'd do.
Yeah, and that's that's a pretty straightforward thing to do inside the AdWords interface, right? You just go to the, perhaps you'll show us in a second, but you just go to the placements tab in your for your campaign, and you see them all there, and you can bulk select them, right? All the ones that you think that are not working, or that you think is not relevant, and just boom, you make sure that just pause them. You don't actually have to delete them, right? You can just pause them, correct?
Yeah, exactly. You can pause them. I wouldn't delete them. The reason being is because if you did introduce a better video ad in due course, you may want to go back and think, well, I can turn some of these back on again now because I'm getting higher conversion rates, and now these bigger placement or these placements that weren't working before now might work for me. So you kind of, you can. It's not just one thing you'll be optimizing by. It's going to be various things, but you need to kind of make it a bit of a step-by-step process. Otherwise, you'll get lost with what you can and can't do, and it's difficult.
I've got a question about channels. Using channels as your placements. So there's 2 kinds of placements, right? Video, targeting videos through video placements, or channels through channel placements. So the only difference is that instead of using a video link, you use a channel link. Have you experimented with channels much, and have you had any good success with that?
Yeah, we got good success with channels and placements. I prefer placements, video placements as opposed to channel placements, just because it's much more granular. Because obviously, when you're doing a channel, it's any of their videos, and might not all be relevant for you. I tend to what I'll do is I'll break it down into different campaigns. So I'd say if we're going to target by channel, I would put them into a certain campaign, and then set up a whole new campaign for when I target video placements. Just because to be fair, that's just the way we've done it. Because channels can get you more reach and more kind of volume, because obviously you're advertising on more videos there inside that channel. But it's not to say that is that's going to be like the winning campaign. Sometimes it's better to kind of really go through every single URL that you can think of. The nice thing is, if you do find a good channel that works, obviously it gives you more reach and gives you more scale. But if that channel is popular as well, the great thing is that all their future videos that they'll be bringing out as well will also be advertised on, which is quite handy because it keeps you up to date. Obviously, once you've chosen your video placements, if people bring out new videos in your niche and rank at the top of search or get lots of views and things, you're not going to be able, you'll have to refresh your lists again to bring in more videos in due course, which we do that every month to 3 months, depending on the client campaign.
Okay, awesome. Tom, I'm wondering if we could look at some more of the detailed tactics there for optimization, because I want to leave a little bit of time for scaling as well. And you've got something else that you want to talk to our viewers about as well. So I want to make sure there's enough time for that too. So let's dig into some more of the nitty gritty details, I guess, but leave enough time for the scaling stuff too. So maybe the 80-20 kind of stuff when it comes to optimization.
Yeah, they kind of come together. It's difficult to kind of isolate scale. Well, it's easy to talk about both, put it that way.
Okay, cool.
As we go through it. So, let me share my screen with you now, Gideon. I think it's going to work. Hopefully, let me know if that's come across nicely.
Yep, just loading for us now.
Great. Okay. So this is a kind of like not a dummy account. I do use this, but I don't use it. I use it more for these types of videos where I can walk through it with people and they can get a feel for what we're doing here. And I've opened up one of the videos that we use, which is like the in-stream video, and it's promoting a 75-minute masterclass that I have actually on tombreeze.com. So that's where I send the traffic to. And you can see overall time we spent about £583.97, and that works out roughly, I reckon, about probably just shy of $1,500 just to give a bit of feel for it. So it's had a bit of spend in it, nothing crazy, but it's a good way of looking at things. So if we start at the campaign level, a few of the things I look at really are, I don't really, and this is, I don't look at impressions at this stage. I don't look at kind of like views or anything too much. I might keep an eye on the view rate. Nothing, but that said, really at this stage, where I'm looking at here, all I'm really interested in is the number of conversions we've had, which works out as the view through conversions plus the conversions here, and then looking at the cost per conversion. Now, when it's displayed like this, which is most people what they have, I actually rearrange this, and not many people know you can do this. So what I do is I go to modify columns, I go to custom columns, and I make one for myself. So I put total conversions. This is just a little tip that can help everybody. And then I would select a metric. I'll go to conversions and put view through conversions plus my actual conversions. Okay.
Wow, I didn't know you could do that, Tom. That is awesome.
Yeah, pretty useful, huh?
Very useful.
So then I'll save that and make sure it's added. I'd actually get rid of most of this stuff, but I'll leave it in there for now. And let me just get, and then you've also got cost per conversion. Now it's going to be cost per normal conversion, not a view through conversion. So we can add another column here and make a new formula. So we can say cost per conversion. Oh, let's call it cost per sign up, because it's a sign up to my webinar. Sorry, to my video. So I'll go conversions. I'll go conversions plus view through conversions. Put that in brackets, and then I would. How do we work this out? Is it divided by cost, or is it cost divided by?
Cost per sign up. So
it's cost divided, isn't it? Yeah. So it's performance and cost divided by conversions plus view through conversions.
Yes.
So I should be able to save that. Hopefully that's going to work for me. There we go. And cost per sign up, and make sure that's added as well. So I'll save that set of columns and just put it as Veeroll for now. So I know what I was doing there, and apply that.
That's
and now,
golden. Love it. We've
useful,
just been counting that up manually. Is this a fairly new thing? Because they didn't used to have this in the YouTube interface, right? The YouTube ad interface. This is an AdWords thing, right? AdWords specific thing.
Yeah, it's a kind of like it's AdWords. I think when video came across back into the AdWords, well, it's not back into, but just when video campaigns came into the whole of the AdWords interface, I think they made it available.
Very cool.
But
Very cool.
Yeah, so now you can see total conversions 156, which is my 54 plus 102.
Excellent.
And then my cost per sign up, instead of £10.81 and trying to work out the calculations back again, it's worked out as £3.74.
Brilliant. Okay, so I've just got a quick observation here that someone else watching this might be noticing as well. I notice here you've there's a ton of views, like over 4,000, only 91 clicks, but you've got a ton of conversions, 156 conversions here. Can you, just as an aside, can you just talk about that a bit? Was this maybe, can you remember what this ad was? Was it maybe a lot of the clicks didn't get counted or something like that?
Yeah, so there's two things to this, and I'm never that sure, and I've never had the motivation to really work this out completely because I don't really mind too much. Clicks I can always see from analytics anyway, so how many people actually visit the website. And I can look at that information. There's two things with clicks. One, I don't think they get tracked properly when using external annotations. So that'll be a large majority of that, I think. I'm not entirely sure, but I think that's a big part of it. And also, I think another part that comes into play is the fact that they'll only measure a click based on the when you get a view as well. So if you get a click through to your website before 30 seconds is up with an in-stream ad, it won't consider it a click. Now, someone's probably going to come back and say that's untrue, and that might be the case. I'm not sure, but it's not a stat that I'm that worried about at this stage. I'm more interested in basically looking at the campaign level, just looking at saying, right, how many conversions have we had and how much does it cost us? And if I know that we're like spending good money, but we've got 156 conversions for £3.74, I know that although I'm willing to carry on paying that, and I'm willing to try and scale that up. I spend anywhere between kind of £5 per lead. I'm happy to do that. So, I mean, I've got other campaigns that work much, much better than this, but I know from a return on investment standpoint, This is proving good ROI on even my early products. So
Yes.
later on, like it'll be pure profit if they buy workshops and all that sort of good stuff later.
So a very important point I also want to make here, or basically supporting what you're saying, is something that Justin Brook talked about as well, and that is, yeah, there's all kinds of optimizations that people make. So quite often people try and optimize how much it costs them per click, the cost per click. They try and reduce that as much as they can, or they try and reduce or increase the conversion rate from, say, clicks to leads or leads to sales. But what he said was one of the most important things, which is very much in line with what you're showing us here, is that it's not so much, those things are all important, but the most important thing really is maximizing that your customer value, right? So how much people actually spend with you, the customer lifetime value, and then from there, as long as your cost per acquisition, so in other words, how much it costs you to get those customers is less or much less than the money that you're getting in for it, then you're going to do well. So the optimization comes down to optimizing your customer lifetime value, and then secondary, looking at these numbers like your cost per lead and your cost per acquisition and optimizing those instead of looking at your cost per click or other conversion rates. Does that make sort of sense for you as well, Tom, from your point of view?
100%. Yeah, Justin's dead on with that one for sure. I agree completely. And it's much easier to keep stats like this anyway. And I think what's important is to go back to what we talked about earlier is the whole experience that you're providing to somebody. Like, I'm much happier to provide a really good experience and spend more on it as long as I'm getting a return on investment. But if someone said, "Oh, I can reduce your cost per lead down to £2 instead of £3.74," I'd be interested. But if they said you have to sell really hard, I'd be like, I'm no longer interested, because I know that I want to have the right relationship with everyone that comes onto the site. I want to make sure that when my videos are displaying, people get to see my videos and like them and want to actually do business with me. So I'm very happy to spend a little bit more money per lead as long as it's providing profitable, because I know that it's going to work out for me much better in the long run. I have much better customers, and it's just an easier kind of like the whole kind of process to it is much better. But also, if you provide a really good piece of kind of valuable experience for the viewer up front and spend a little bit more money on making sure that experience is really good, your remarketing will be really exciting, because the warm traffic is there with a good experience of you. Some people say, "Oh, remarketing doesn't work," and I look at their campaigns. It's like it's real hard sell to opt to just a basic squeeze page. And it's like, well, of course they've said no to you because they didn't like what you had, and they're not coming back, and they don't want to come back. Whereas if you provide that really good content and they didn't sign up just because it wasn't the right time for them, you can still find another offer. They say, "Oh my God, yeah, I really wasn't up for your webinar, but I didn't realize you had this like free 5-minute video. It's going to be amazing." And so numbers are really, really important to keep an eye on, but I think experience comes first. Experience for the user comes first.
Very cool.
Okay. So if we go into this particular campaign here, let me just refresh the page here. Let's go here. That's going to stop working for me when we're doing a live demo. That's always the way. Okay, let me just refresh this.
It does that even when you're not doing live stuff.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. All right. So now I'm going to click it and hopefully it will work this time. Oh, it has. Okay, perfect. So these are all the ad groups that we've got now. Okay. So there's a few things. I've got, like, let's only see what I've got here. So I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. I've got 10 ad groups in this particular campaign. I wouldn't add any more at this stage. If I wanted to, I would set up a new campaign and start again, because if one of these ad groups performs really well and takes up all the budget, it means that other ad groups wouldn't get much budget for the day, because obviously your budget's decided at the campaign level and not the ad group level. That's something to consider. There's no point like having 500 ad groups in one campaign, because they don't all get equal exposure.
Right.
It's difficult to get the numbers. But first of all, what I look at again is per ad group. I'd look at kind of like what's going on, just get an overall picture just to begin with. Sometimes you're going to see one ad group just doesn't work for you at all, and some work really well for you. Now you can do the same thing again with your conversions, so you can modify the conversions and press the total conversions and cost per sign up in as well. So I might just do that for now. And so on the right-hand side now, I'll just get rid of some of these columns here just to... Just want to leave those four for now. But what I can see is like total conversions and cost per sign up. So I can kind of rank by cost per sign up if I wanted to. And then I'd say, right, okay, this one was already being paused. It's looking a little bit too expensive for me. And you can see here that I'm talking about YouTube advertising, and I've advertised on keywords around YouTube SEO and video rankings. Okay, and so that proves to me immediately that I was getting conversions, sure, but I have the message to that search isn't right. They're saying, I want to learn how to do YouTube SEO, and I'm saying, here's how to do YouTube ads. That's not going to work. And it's proved it with the cost per sign up. It's a bit too expensive. Whereas down here, a little bit that further down, we've got PPC and AdWords. That's not much of a jump to go from pay-per-click AdWords advertising to YouTube advertising. That's going to be interesting for some people. And Facebook ads, the same thing. It's more of an advertising area. How to get more leads is being quite cheap as well. And then down here, the data's too small to really pay attention to what's going on. But the broader you get, the reason you want to go broader from your message is because you can get more scale. So like, that's why I've advertised on things like YouTube SEO videos, because it's still quite close, but they are going to be more, I know they're going to be more expensive. But some of them just got a little bit too expensive. £7.45, I was like, I'm not sure if that's going to be too expensive for me. Therefore, I paused it. And I think I can probably create a better ad to get people to, like, now seeing this, and I can get some conversions here. What I might do, Gideon, is create a video ad that specifically says something like, hey, look, are you struggling with your YouTube SEO? If so, have you thought about running YouTube ads? It's the brand new way of getting leads and traffic from YouTube, and you can appear for every single keyword you want. You don't have to do all the hard work beforehand.
Right.
Something like that. So make it
very cool.
The
Much
video,
more targeted.
Yeah, exactly. Make the video more. We call it keyword dynamic insertion because that's what AdWords would call it. Where it's kind of like making sure the actual thing they're searching for in the first place is said at the start of the video, and then you kind of pull them around to think about your ad. I think in this instance, the video is just like, hey, YouTube advertising is great. Come and find out more here. And so that's the message wouldn't be right to that audience.
Okay, so in this case, you would just basically go into that ad group and then turn off the existing video, the ad for that ad group, and then replace it with a new one, basically. You upload a new one.
Precisely, yeah. So if I click inside here, there's the ad. It's me on stage in London, in fact. And I'll just pause this one, and then I would add another video ad. That's the one that's more relevant, basically.
Got it. Okay, cool. So once again, there you can either create your own sort of talking head kind of video, or if you just want to quickly create a test video ad, use one of the Veeroll templates just to get something cranking there quickly. So what's cool about this, if you go back to the previous view, Tom, is that essentially you could have a different video ad for each of those target groups. And I think this is where the video templates could come in pretty handy. For example, there's 10 different ad groups there, and each of those ad groups has, I'm imagining a couple of hundred video links in there, right? Video placement links in there. So what you could do here, I'm guessing, Tom, and I haven't done it myself, but what you could do here is create a separate video ad for each of those targeting groups and make it super targeted. So the first one could be all about YouTube SEO and video SEO. The second video ad could be all about YouTube advertising. The third one could be about TrueView advertising. So you create each video ad specifically for each ad group, and that I'd imagine that would definitely help with conversions as well, right?
The conversions go up massively when you do that. When you have like the keyword in the video relates to the video they're watching. I think we've done a case study about this for Digital Marketer. We did it with Andy Harrington, and we knew that some of Andy's best videos were either to do with three main keywords of public speaking, presentation skills, or communication skills. So we kind of looked at those three and then created ads according to those actual keywords. So very similar ads, just different starts the video. So it says, if you're looking to improve your public speaking skills, if you're looking to improve your presentation skills, if you're looking to improve your communication skills. So you just say that at the start of the video based on which one they're looking for, and have basically the same ending to the video. And then it would be is it like because we knew that we were getting really good results with channels. What we would do is we'd take the most famous channels that are out there. So we'd say like, hey, look, if you're just about to watch a video by Tony Robbins, then you might want to consider this is a better way of speaking in public. Or do you know what I mean?
Right.
I can't remember exactly what we said at the start of the video, but we dropped in the name Tony Robbins or Nick Vujicic or Les Brown or all the other competitors to Andy, and made it complimentary to the actual person we're talking about. But then almost like really, we just know that we're really aligning that message of the video to the person that's searching the video in the first place.
Awesome. That's a super ninja tip right there, everybody. So yeah, thanks for that one, Tom. Great.
No worries. I mean, so what you can see here is that what I would do is I would start looking at a few things basically, but just making like observations that make sense, right? So it looks like the start of this, the maximum cost per view that we were willing to pay in the first place was around about 20 cents because they're all rough. Well, most of them are still at 20 cents here, or 20 pence, sorry. And then based on the data that we were getting, some of them we held there. So this one, YouTube advertising, I want to appear there for a branding reason as well as kind of getting leads for it. But you can see here that we've got like 23 leads or 23 conversions at £6.15. I'm happy with that. I know that I need to change the video, but I'm happy with that. And then TrueView advertising, similar thing, £5.77, but we only got 2 conversions. So it's coming at a cost I'm happy to pay still. So I've increased it to 25 pence to see if we can get more reach, basically. I'll talk about that in just a second, a bit more in detail. And then you can see here that I think we upped this because we were getting good results from how to get clients, customers, and business. We upped it to 50 pence because we thought, well, this is working really well for us. Let's increase this cost per view. We're trying to get more scale, really. And you can see here that we've got 62% of the impression share. Okay, so impression share basically means of the times, well, based on like what you filtered in your targeting, on the times you could have got shown, how many times you actually got shown. So here, like we're getting like 62%. That's because we've increased our cost, and it's cost us probably a little bit more because now it's about £5.60. That would have been less than £5 when we turned up at 50. But I'm still happy with that. I'm still good with that because I know that people looking to get customers and more business and more clients, etc., are a good audience for us. Now, if I was to increase this further to say something like 75 pence, now what will probably happen is my impression share will probably go up. I'll probably get more impression share. Still, I might get more conversions, but I'm sure my cost per sign up will also go up as well.
Right.
So it's a way up, right? It's kind of like, what are you, and you've got to just keep an eye on it. I normally go in, make a change, leave it for a week, and then come back and have a look at it again. If you're very kind of like precious with your cash, and that's good to be like that, then you might want to check it every 3 or 4 days. But don't go in more than that because it's going to be too confusing. You'll be changing things left, right, and center, and you've got to let the algorithm do its thing as well.
Got it. Okay, so give it about 3 days from when you're making a change.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, and so then I'll go down further and further, and I'll be like, oh, okay, look at this. Like PPC AdWords and Facebook ads don't really fall into the same category here. This is all quite broad advertising because we've got like different things. So what I might do at this stage is say, right, well, let's take these two because we're getting good results, 30 conversions and 27 conversions. I might even take this one as well and say, right, well, we've only taken probably about 50 placements, I think it is, on each ad group. What I do now is break them into 3 different campaigns and then really try and get as much as I can. Because look at this one, Facebook ads as a keyword for me. Now I would change the video to be more focused on Facebook ads and say, hey, look, if you're running Facebook ads, why not run YouTube ads as well? I would massively increase the cost per view to get more impression share than just 17%. Because I'm getting leads in for £1.34. And then what I'd do is, so I'd change the video, but then I'd try and get as many keywords as I can related to Facebook ads and have like, maybe let's say 20 ad groups in one campaign dedicated to Facebook ads and all the different keywords I can think of around Facebook ads. So like even words like power editor and Facebook video ads and all, do you see what I mean? So have create lots and lots of ad groups relevant to the main keyword of Facebook ads.
Got it. So which you set up a totally new campaign based on that, on the results that basically got from that? You set up a brand new campaign, but just put it all around Facebook ads and finding keywords just all around that, and flesh that
Yeah,
out a lot more, just really focused.
yeah, exactly. Like this actual campaign here, when we've got all the ad groups in this, we've kind of tested a few different ideas that we thought, oh, okay, this might be an interesting keyword. This might be an interesting keyword. Really, we could probably have another 20 in here, 20 new ad groups based on different keywords we can think of that might be relevant for us.
Right.
So it could be like LinkedIn ads and Twitter ads and all the different platforms, for example. But as soon as I see something like this, which is really exciting, like both these PPC and AdWords and Facebook ads, they look quite exciting. This cost per view still held in, so I might increase that. But I know what's going to happen. I'm going to be able to scale up quite heavily on these videos and get a lot more traffic coming through. And the more and more I do that, if I left Facebook ads in with something like YouTube marketing, I might just find that one or two ad groups get so much exposure that spend my daily budget really quickly, and YouTube marketing never even gets a chance to start showing out, sort of thing. So that might stay really, really low. Like YouTube marketing, I would have thought I got more than 10 conversions for £5.50 because I'm really closely tied in. But it might be because this is like these three campaigns here might be spending more of the budget.
Right.
So I just need to keep an eye on that.
Cool. Super awesome. Okay, so then in terms of scaling, so there's a couple of ways to scale there. One is, if you can increase your cost per view, that's going to give you more impressions. It's going to increase your cost per sign up then as well. But and then to get more audience, then it means you've got to also increase your overall budget, right, to increase that scale. But this is the way you go about it. Yeah,
exactly. So you can, well, from a financial perspective, yes, you can say increase my cost per view and also increase my daily budget.
Right. So, yeah,
that's great.
And you can see whether you can have that scale by looking at your impression share, right? So, for example, that the third one that you've got selected there, the Facebook ads one, you're only sitting on close to 18% of impression share. So it means there's still another 80% of audience that you could. 82% of audience that you could still access by just increasing your cost per view and also your budget, your daily budget for that, right?
Yeah, exactly. But remember, let's have a look at this particular ad group here, because I reckon we've got not a very good video for that particular keyword of Facebook. But if I look at my Facebook video targeting and have a look at the placements, let's just have a look at the placements for a second. Let's have a look at the cost, ranked by cost, so we can see that we're only really getting traffic for a few videos, really more than anything else. Okay. So if I look at total number of, there's not that many here. So there's 165, if you can see there, 165 placements in this particular campaign, or in this ad group. And there's many more videos than 165 about Facebook advertising.
Right.
So I could go and get loads and loads and loads of, like tens of thousands of videos around Facebook ads.
Okay.
And I would never be able to do that without Veeroll, just to let you know.
Yes.
But yeah,
that essentially creates more opportunity for you to scale then as well. In case because if you're just going to 165 videos, not all of them even getting you all the views. You basically need more videos to run your ads on, so that you can get that scale, right?
Exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it. So this stage, I know, for me, looking at this now, I think, man, Facebook ads as a keyword for me is huge. I haven't taken advantage of it just yet, but now it's time to go and do it, because I'm getting good low cost per conversions. Obviously, I want to check whether to see if people are actually taking further action, but I don't need to, because if we go back to that bigger picture area again, if people are advertising on Facebook, they've got the right mindset for this. For me, they're spending money on advertising just on a different platform. They're more like people that spend money on advertising typically will be people that have money behind them and are not afraid to spend money on good education on how to run ads more effectively. So if let's say, for example, I created a campaign to say, hey, look, here's how to create a video that's perfect for Facebook, and guess what? It's great for YouTube too. And then had a product around like the perfect video creation, then that would be a great start for me to run loads and loads and loads of traffic on YouTube for this type of keyword. But I'll go and get a load more placements. I'll create a better video ad and up my cost per view and up my daily budgets as well.
Okay, great. Tom, I've just managed to turn off your screen. So would you mind just sharing your screen
Oh,
again?
sure. Yeah. Okay. Let me just go back and do that again. Okay. Um,
This is really awesome stuff, Tom. It's so good. I mean, every time I talk to Tom, there's something amazing new that I learn. So, and we've had so many talks over the last year or two. There's been many talks that we had, haven't we, Tom? And every time there's something new that I learn. So this is just incredible. Thank you for sharing all this stuff with us.
I love it. I actually really actually love I mean, so I mean, yeah, I think a lot of people know that I run an agency doing this, and I don't always day to day do this sort of stuff, go into campaigns, but I used to. I used to do it all myself. Can you see my screen, by the way, Gideon?
Yes, I can see it. It's
You're
beautiful.
back. Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay, perfect. So let me just make this full screen so I can walk you through it. So yeah, so I run an agency doing this, and I don't get to kind of get into the nitty gritty every single day because I'm doing lots of stuff, and the team tend to do a lot of this stuff as well.
Right.
But it's like looking at this now. I mean, I haven't looked inside this campaign for a while. I don't really run much traffic through it at all. But you can see, hopefully you can see, Gideon, as well, and everyone else on the call there can see okay, wow, there's a huge opportunity here for me on Facebook ads, just as that as a keyword.
Right.
Now, because the cost per acquisition is so low, and it's like £1 something, I can't remember what it was, because it's so low, and it's a big keyword for me, it would motivate me to go and create new video ads specifically designed for this anyway, but also go and get a load more placements. I'd even think about running traffic to a blog post as well now. So it's like running to a blog post and pixel them there because I want to try and even build a better experience for people. But I might even move across to keywords as well. So use straight keywords to my placement, to my video ads, not just go for placements now, because the cost per acquisition is so low. So I might start typing in keyword like Facebook ads, for example, or how to advertise on Facebook, Power Editor, those types of keywords that are specific, like the jargon that you would get that is associated to Facebook advertising. And you just get this all of a sudden you've got this huge reach with keywords. Then you can start building audiences as well, and similar audiences and all that sort of good stuff as well. But it means that I know that I've already got a good campaign running for Facebook ads. I haven't properly optimized it or scaled it yet, but I know there's going to be a lot of traffic for me there. I would have thought at least 50 leads a day coming through from that particular keyword, if not much, much more, and cost effectively as well. And I know it's going to be high quality traffic because people are going to search this information out. They find the video, my video pops up in front of them with better content, basically.
Yeah, so I'm also just showing people here on the screen. You probably can't see it now, Tom, but inside Veeroll, you just go and use the targeting tool and for video placements. And the interface might change in the future, but the principle is still the same. But yeah, here for example, here I've just typed in Facebook ads, just as an example, and you can see that there really is a ton of stuff that comes up that people are searching for right now on YouTube. So I think your gut feeling is definitely spot on there, Tom. I can't even get to the bottom of the screen while I'm scrolling. So pretty cool.
Good. Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So some nice homework there for you.
Yeah. There's my next million right there. Thanks, Gideon.
Right. Awesome.
But yeah, but I mean, So I keep on going big picture, small picture, big picture, small picture with the information I'm getting. So now I can see that Facebook ads as a keyword is very big for me. My bigger picture now is to say, right, I've got to create a campaign or a whole website funnel dedicated to this type of keyword that I know that I've got to move people onto the idea of using YouTube ads instead of Facebook ads, or say, here's how to run a video ad on Facebook, because that's what I do, sort of thing. So I can do both, if that makes sense.
Right.
And it's just trying to find the best message for this type of keyword afterwards. So it's finding your message, seeing where it's working, seeing what you can improve, and exactly what we've been doing here, just going through the data and just having a look and realizing what's possible.
Brilliant. That's really golden stuff. Tom, would you say that's about the 20% of optimization here that we've talked about already? Or do you think there's something else that's worth mentioning before we move towards the end of the call today?
Yeah, just a couple of things I think would be useful just to bear in mind. Now that we've talked about a lot of this stuff, it's quite quick and easy to go through it. One thing is obviously demographics. Keep an eye on demographics, because although I've got 18 to 24-year-olds turned on here, I would typically turn them off because they don't tend to be the most affluent audience.
Right.
25-year-olds plus I would normally have. And then gender-wise, you also want to keep an eye on males and females, because you might just find that one's much more expensive than the other. I know that my Facebook audiences tend to, across many clients, tend to kind of play out in a similar way. I tend to find for most of the clients I work with, males just tend to convert more than females. I don't know what that is, but that's just the way it is. But it's keeping an eye on that. And I know that the vast majority of my customers are male, but I'd love to work with more females. So yeah, it's kind of like keeping an eye on the demographics. And one thing I think I see a lot of people fall into the trap of is starting off a campaign. Let me just show you here with the settings. They start off a campaign, and let's just look at some of these campaign settings, by grouping together the big five. So it might be like Australia, Canada, New Zealand, United Kingdom, and United States. Or even if it's on a local basis, people might do it with the big cities. So it might be like, well, in the UK, it'd be like London, Birmingham, Liverpool, Leeds, Manchester, for example, Brighton and things. And then likewise, in a similar way, when it comes to US, it might be something like New York, Boston, and go through all the different cities, for example. And then just group them all together in one location. That's a great place to start. But later on, you want to break them up, because different cities and different countries act in different ways and will give you a different cost as well. So later on, if say, for example, my next phase would be to like say, right, I'm going to focus on 3 or 2 new keywords of pay-per-click and AdWords, and then also then Facebook ads, because I'm getting great results there. And I want to scale that bit up as well. I'd improve my funnel, make it more relevant for them. Run a campaign that's, again, all these top 5 countries that are running traffic to that offer, and make the video work as well, and increase the budgets and increase the cost per views, etc. But then what I would do is I'd run it first of all to all 5 countries again, get kind of scale there, and then when I want to get more scale after that, I would then break it into 5 different, well, maybe not 5 actually, I'll probably break it into like Australia and New Zealand, Canada and America, and then the UK. And if you only got any European countries in there as well, I'd add them in to that as well. But break it up like that, because what you find is those kind of continents will behave in different ways and give you different cost per acquisitions. But also you'll find that sometimes if you limit your budgets, you can find that at the start of the day, Australia and New Zealand can hog a fair chunk of the budget. And when it comes past the UK, you've then spent 90% of your budget, and you're only spending 10% in the US and Canada. But it won't show you that data easily. Right. So it's not always quite so easy to see what's working. And then different times of day means different things as well to different people. So what I would say is that once you've got a really good campaign that you've optimized and scaled, to get that extra, like squeeze a little bit extra out of it, is break up the locations and run 3 separate campaigns based on those locations.
Okay. And so when you run these 3 separate campaigns, you turn off the original one, right? So you don't basically run campaigns against yourself.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's exactly it.
Got it.
You can see here that you can also change the delivery method to accelerated, which will just give you that extra boost as well. Nothing major, but it will just get you that extra push there. And then sometimes you might also want to look at your frequency capping. So you can see here that we've upped our impression cap to 10 a day. Previously, we would have had it about 2, but then if we're just like trying to get as much scale as possible and just trying to get in front of as many people as possible, then we might increase that impression cap to like 10 a day.
Right. And so this is just how many times it gets shown per user, right?
Yeah, per user per day. So yeah, and you can do it by views or you can do it by impressions. I reckon impressions, because you don't want to annoy people constantly. And that's okay. Frustrating.
So in this case, it'll get shown to someone 10 times a day, every day.
Yeah, which is probably a bit excessive. But yeah.
Does that affect your quality score at all if you show it that much to the same people?
Well, it's just your cap. So what I do is I eliminate all the people that have converted from my site, from the video. So say, for example, someone someone sees my video ad, goes to our website and actually converts and hits our conversion pixel. I will eliminate those people from our campaigns, so they won't see my ads once they've converted.
Okay, right. How do you do that in the campaign? Is that because if your main targeting method is placements, do you then just add a negative remarketing list inside that campaign? Yeah.
So okay. What you do is you go to you can do it at the campaign level if you want to, but you just go to remarketing, and then you add an exclusion, and you can put ad group exclusion or campaign exclusion, and it'll just give you a list basically. Say, right, the people that have
Okay, there we go.
you can even do it by the video. So people that have watched a video, you can eliminate them.
That's
So
pretty
they
cool.
never see that video ad again. But
Okay,
you can do it if you do it by your AdWords remarketing list. You'll see like all converters. Just add that in, and then
right.
you've eliminated
Great.
all the people who will convert.
Right. So if they've already signed up, then they're not going to see the ad again.
Exactly. In fact, I might do that now anyway.
Awesome.
So there we go.
That's really powerful. That's really powerful. Awesome.
Yeah. So
Right.
that's. I did make some more notes. Let me just see if there's anything in particular I wanted to show you here. I think we've talked about pretty much everything that I think is like the 80-20 rule
Yes.
type of approach. I think that there's obviously loads of other stuff you can do, like include mobile advertising and then kind of like do some clever remarketing across different platforms from YouTube to Facebook and Facebook to YouTube and all that sort of good stuff. But really the stuff we talked about here is what I would get my team to do, and they go through it and just look at where we're getting results, scale up those areas by increasing, improving the campaigns, in terms of like the actual user experience of what ads they see to what landing pages, etc. And then just scale up in terms of adding up more placements, more keywords, increasing the cost per view, increasing the campaign budgets, and just keeping an eye on things. And every now and again you get this like one placement or one keyword that just blows up for you, and you're just like, oh wow, we're making ridiculous amounts of money from this one keyword. Long may it continue. And then you know that once you've got a huge amount of scale, you want to create more ads, and yeah, it's just like a organic process, but you're going to let the data decide where you go next, basically.
Awesome. Well, that was just incredible, Tom. Thank you so much. But I know that there's a lot more to this stuff as well. We've just touched on really the 80-20 stuff, and there's a lot more to not just optimization and scaling, but also video ads in general. You have something else that you'd like to talk about to our viewers today as well. Is that right?
Yeah, exactly. So there is, if you want to check out more of my stuff, then you can go to tombreeze.com, and there's actually a presentation that I gave in London to 600 people, and it's kind of it walks through a lot around YouTube advertising and touches on Facebook advertising as well, but how to use video primarily and specifically what to do to get the best results. So it's like a keynote presentation that I gave in London just earlier this year. And I'm going to be adding onto the site soon as well the presentation from traffic and conversion that I've recently been at in San Diego. So again, about 500, 600 people there as well, in one of the smaller rooms, because I'm not the big name speaker just yet. I'll get in one day.
Oh, okay. So that broken up into different rooms. I didn't realize that.
Yeah, they broke it up into like they had the main room, which is like 2,500 people, I think, or something.
Right.
But I'm just not that big a name just yet. So
next time. Well, still,
yeah, next time maybe.
Getting 500 people or so in the room is pretty impressive still. So that's congratulations. Okay,
Yeah,
so people can go to tombreeze.com. And
yeah, so I'll actually.
So everybody watching this, please go there, sign up for that. That looks pretty hot. That little video there of Tom is really engaging. That's totally worth watching, and it's actually crazy. I mean, for you guys watching this is just get this. So you're getting this course now, going through the Veeroll course, right? But the lesson that we had with Tom today is probably worth more than the whole course together. Just to put this in context, and if you have a look here at what Tom's doing on his site here, if you sign up for that, it's like a 75-minute presentation where you can get 75 minutes more of Tom, where he's talking. That's probably a presentation that goes into the bigger strategy for video ads, right, Tom? Yeah,
it does. It kind of also talks about how to create a video and get it best and get it done the right way and things. It's actually I actually do a live demo on stage of me presenting, and I muck it all up. So it's good to go and watch how like I completely muck things up, and even during a live demo and things. So it's all good.
So definitely,
it's good fun.
So everybody definitely go and check that out. And I'm not sure how much of this presentation will be up there for much longer. So if you're still seeing this and it's still on the page, make sure you get it before it's gone.
Yeah.
Okay, brilliant. Was there anything else that you wanted to tell people about, Tom?
No, apart from I'm amazing and everything like that. No, I'm all good. It's all good.
Awesome. Well, this was just incredible, Tom. Thank you so much for once again fully over delivering. I I'm always impressed with your level of content and information, and you always over deliver, man. So thank you. It was really, really good, and wish you all the best for your future endeavors as you travel around the world, speak on stages with thousands of people, and as you grow your business as well. But yeah, definitely everybody go and check out Tom's site. Make sure you sign up. Lots of cool goodies there, and get in touch with Tom.
Thanks very much, Gideon. I just want to say as well that I love over delivering for you, because I know that you've been influential throughout kind of my video career and things. So and thank you very much. And yeah, I love anything I can do to help. Of course, I'll always do that. And yeah, long may Veeroll continue, because it helps us out every single day, and it's been very, very useful for us as an agency. So thank you very much for that as well.
Brilliant. You're very welcome. All right, everybody. Thank you very much for watching. If you're watching this anywhere else other than inside the Veeroll platform, make sure you sign up for Veeroll, because this is where you'll get access to the course and to the software as well. And yeah, please go ahead and do that. Thank you, everybody. Leave some comments below the video if you've got any questions, and we'll do our best to answer those for you as well. With that out of the way, thanks, everybody, and we'll see you inside the next video. Thanks, Tom.
Cheers.